The Excan team notices a pipe going into ground amidst a dense forest. This was quite surprising because the area where they were standing was an old, dead volcano, fully covered by trees, plants, and grass. To explore the inside of the pipe, they decided to send a night vision camera. As the camera descended, after about 30 meters, it captured the view of a large tunnel. This was on March 5th, 2018, and the Excan team was about to witness something unique 30 meters below the ground, near the city of Lublin, South Poland. When the camera was moved inside the tunnel, an unexpected sight appeared, a railway track. They were confused about what the track was doing there when, from a distance, a mine cart caught their attention. Upon informing local authorities, a map of a lost tunnel dating back to World War II was brought to light. It was discovered that this tunnel had been constructed during World War II around 80 years ago, and local authorities had been searching for it for many years. The entrance to the tunnel had been sealed with heavy stones, and years of soil and grass had erased any signs of its existence. However, the tunnel inside perfectly matched the one shown on the map. The presence of a track and mine carts indicated that the tunnel was likely used for storing supplies during World War II. The metal objects found inside the tunnel, rusted with time, included tools such as shovels, drills, and pickaxes, left exactly as Nazi military soldiers had placed them 80 years ago. During World War II, countries like Nazi Germany and Japan faced off against the U.S. and the U.K. Hitler's army had built thousands of underground bunkers. Initially, Hitler constructed these bunkers, but later, Allied forces also began using underground tunnels and bunkers. These bunkers were of great strategic importance, serving both defensive and offensive purposes. They either protected soldiers from enemy attacks or helped to launch attacks. The bunkers protected against airstrikes and artillery shells, providing soldiers with a secure base. Defensive bunkers on the front lines were designed to withstand enemy assaults, like Germany's Atlantic Wall, which served as a formidable barrier against Allied attacks. Some bunkers were also used for planning operations, where commanders could secretly manage military campaigns. During World War II, so many underground bunkers and war rooms were constructed that it's still impossible to count them all. Many of these bunkers are still buried beneath the earth today. It is said that the construction of these bunkers during World War II led to a global shortage of iron and cement. According to estimates, the total cost of building these bunkers amounted to anywhere from $500 billion to $1 trillion in today's terms. To give an example, the cost of the 20-year-long war in Afghanistan, which cost the U.S. $100 million daily, was far less than the daily expense of constructing bunkers during World War II, which amounted to $460 million a day. This figure only accounts for construction costs and does not include expenses for manpower, logistics, and ammunition. Let's look at some bunkers that tell us about this immense engineering feat and the costs involved. The Atlantic Wall was a massive coastal defense system built by Nazi Germany during World War II. It stretched for 2,400 miles, 3,800 kilometers, along Europe's coastline to defend against Allied forces' attacks from the sea. Built between 1940 and 1944, this system included thousands of bunkers, ammunition depots, and forts. During that time, Hitler also controlled large parts of France. A part of the Atlantic Wall extended into northern France, where artillery batteries like the Long Tom were installed. These bunkers were designed to withstand heavy bombing and provide defensive fire when attacked. In Norway, the lower section of the Atlantic Wall was built to block Allied forces coming from the North Atlantic. Similarly, the Netherlands, also under Nazi control, saw the construction of many bunkers along the North Atlantic coast. The entire Atlantic Wall, consisting of underground bunkers, tunnels, artillery batteries, and forts, was created by a German engineering company called Fritz Todt. Around 260,000 workers, mostly prisoners, were forced to construct these structures within just 2 to 4 years. Today, some parts of the Atlantic Wall still stand as historical monuments, reminding us of the engineering marvels and enormous costs involved during World War II. When Hitler created the Atlantic Wall, Allied forces never imagined how difficult it would be to overcome it. But in 1942, an event took place that opened the eyes of the U.S. and U.K. Canadian forces, part of the Allied powers, planned an attack on the French town of Dieppe an operation now known as Operation Jubilee. The goal was to test the strength of the Atlantic Wall. However, these reinforced concrete bunkers managed to thwart the Allied attack, leaving the troops trying to land along the coastline as victims of the German crossfire. This was a significant setback for the Allies, as they lost over 3,600 soldiers who were either killed or captured by the Nazis. After the Dieppe raid, Allied forces realized that if they were to succeed in defeating Hitler's regime, they would need to heavily invest in bunker construction and defense systems. Consequently, the United Kingdom, France, the Soviet Union, and even Canada invested in construction of their own bunkers and tunnels. Churchill War Rooms, an underground complex, served as the headquarters of British Prime Minister Winston Churchill during World War II. It was designed to protect against German airstrikes. Similarly, after World War II, France built new underground bunkers and tunnels as part of the Maginot Line, hoping to secure the country from future attacks. However, Nazi Germany bypassed the Maginot Line by invading France through Belgium. In the Far East, Japan, an ally of Hitler during World War II, also constructed hundreds of underground bunkers. A vast network of tunnels, complete with hidden artillery positions, storage rooms, and living quarters, was built to defend against Allied invasions. These bunkers were designed for surprise attacks on Allied forces, using the network of tunnels to provide effective resistance. Japan's bunkers were larger and more complicated, with thousands of soldiers stationed in defensive positions. The engineering feats involved in creating these bunkers during World War II were nothing short of miraculous. Despite the challenges of limited resources, the constant threat of airstrikes, and the workers' poor conditions, these structures were built. Even today, many of them remain hidden underground, especially those constructed by Axis powers, as their military forces retreated or defeated after the war. Special ventilation systems were installed in underground bunkers to bring in fresh air and remove carbon dioxide. Nazi leader Adolf Hitler relied on these bunkers for protection during the war. His famous Eagle's Nest, or Kelstein House, in the Bavarian Alps, was a luxurious retreat designed for meetings and relaxation. Another famous bunker, the Führer Bunker in Berlin, was where Hitler spent his final days, ultimately ending his life there on April 30th, 1945. Today, there is no surface trace of this bunker, though it remains a dark chapter of World War II history. Another such bunker, the Wolf's Lair, located in the forests of northern Germany, was massive, resembling a fortress more than a bunker.